Hey guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and do the answers to the questions that I got from viewers like you. So, my first question was, has there been any in-law problems since I've had the baby? Um, I wouldn't really say in-law problems, like, the only thing that bugs me is that Keith's parents don't really talk to me. Once Keith left, that's the last time they've seen the baby, so it's already going on 2.5 weeks since they've seen him. They don't really ask me about him. Keith says they ask about him about the baby, but they don't ask me. They haven't asked to see him or anything. So I guess that's the biggest in-law problem. Do I ever feel overwhelmed being a new parent? Definitely. Sometimes he just wants to cry or he just wants to be held, and I have a million other things I have to do. Like yesterday, me and my mom were making enchiladas, and he needed to be held, and we have 4 pans of enchiladas that we're making, and she needs my help, he needs my attention, and sometimes it's just way overwhelming. Have I had any big obstacles since giving birth? My biggest obstacle is going back to school. It's hard being away from him. I do exclusively breastfeed, so I do have to pump sometimes as well, which is hard, but I'll talk about that more in another question. How long did it take me to heal? Um, I stopped bleeding at like 2.5 weeks, and this is TMI warning, but in any other circumstance, I would have waited the full 6 weeks. But Keith was leaving in a few days, but I did do the deed at 3 weeks and 3 days, and it didn't hurt. It was fine. Um, so everybody's different, but that was for me. And if I could have one thing for me and my family, what would it be? It would be that me and Keith we're in separate states. It's really hard with him being away, but I do know that he is doing it so he can have a better education. But it is definitely hard with him being away, so I'd like us to be in the same state again. I was asked who watches the baby when I'm at school, and do I pump while he can eat while I'm at school. I only go to school for 1 hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the rest of my classes are online. But while I am at school, I'm out there for about 2 hours, and my mom does watch him, and I do have bottles. I feed him right before I leave, and since he eats every 3 to 4 hours, usually he's okay, but sometimes he does need a bottle. So I do have some frozen breast milk in the freezer in case he does get hungry. Ask when is Keith coming back? Isaiah and I will be going out there in March for 2 weeks, the end of March through April for 2 weeks. But he graduates in June, so he'll be coming home in June, July-ish. I am going to school for business management with a degree in photography. I mean, I'm going to school for an AS in business management and a certificate in photography. Someday I want to be a travel photographer, traveling the world, taking pictures for like National Geographic and stuff. The biggest question I got was about stitches. Did I get stitches? How many? How long did it take for them to go away? Okay, I had a second-degree tear, so I don't know how many stitches I got exactly. But I was able to do the deed at 3 weeks and 3 days, so they could be gone. I haven't had my 6 week postpartum check yet, but I'm pretty sure they're all gone by now. It's already 7 weeks almost, so I'm pretty sure they're probably already gone. We graduated high school in 2006. What are the differences being in an interracial relationship? People definitely look at us differently. Like, they don't think that we should be together in a relationship, let alone have a baby together. But we've been together for 4 years now. January 25th was our anniversary. So we really just kind of shine it off. We don't really care. We don't, we've been together for a long time, and their opinions don't really matter. I asked, how is it being a mommy? And if it is what it is was expected. It's definitely what was expected in the I'm gonna be tired side and stuff, but it wasn't what I expected in the reward side. Once Isaiah he was like about 5.5 weeks when he learned how to smile, and that was the most rewarding thing I think I've ever felt in the world. And knowing that he's smiling at me because he recognizes me, like that's amazing. And now that he's talking more and laughing more, it's just so amazing. Like, it makes every problem worth it. So yeah, being a mommy is amazing. Questions that I got that I can answer right now was if there's anything unique about Isaiah, and he has an outie belly button. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he has an outie. Okay, next question was, does Isaiah sleep through the night? If not, how many times does he wake up? He doesn't sleep through the night, but he wakes up twice. He wakes up usually about 1 and sometime between 4:30 and 5. And he's only up for about 20 minutes to eat, and then he goes right back to sleep. So no, he doesn't sleep through the night, but he's not really awake that much either. How many times a day do I feed him? And how do I know when he's done eating? How long before another feeding? I feed him anywhere from 6 to 8 times a day, depending on how hungry he is. He usually eats every 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes he'll sleep through a feeding, but usually it's about every 3 to 4 hours. And I know when he's done eating because I don't really know how to describe it, but if you breastfed a baby, you'll know their sucking becomes different. When they're eating, they suck slow and slow and hard, and when they're not eating, they suck like faster and like softer. So it's kind of like they're sucking on a pacifier, and that's how I know he's just using me like a pacifier, and he's done. When will the breast pump drawing be? That will be on Friday the 12th. Friday the 12th is when the breast pump drawing will be. Asked about babysitting and if I've let anybody babysit him since he's been born. My mom watches him when I go to school. Keith's mom has watched him 2 or 3 times, and my sister's watched him like while I take a shower. But really, the only person who's watched him like when I went somewhere has been my mom. How did I dress him when he came home when he had his cord stump? Really, I just dressed him normally. There's no nerve endings when they have their little stump, so you can just put them in regular clothes. You don't have to be sensitive about it. And when the nurse came and checked on him at home, like she was like moving it around and everything, so he can't feel it at all. Does he sleep on his back? And yeah, he sleeps on his back. Every now and then he'll roll to his side in his sleep because he's swaddled, so he can't really push himself back over. But for the most part, he does sleep on his back. Does he sleep with me? Yes. And is he swaddled? Yes. We have the Kidpotamus swaddlers, and I love them. I'll be doing a product review on them, but he is swaddled. I asked, does it hurt when you breastfeed? And to be honest, at first it does. The first 2 weeks are hell. I don't want to scare anybody from breastfeeding, but it hurts. You crack, you bleed, you grit your teeth, you cry, because it does hurt. But if you can get through those first 2 weeks, like now there's no problems whatsoever. It's completely fine now. So if you're gonna breastfeed, just tell yourself you're gonna get through the first 2 weeks, and once you do, you'll see that it's a lot easier. Then I was asked, how do I feel about raising an interracial child? Actually, I don't feel any different. Sometimes I kind of feel like he's the black sheep of the family, like, pardon the pun. But, my family's all Mexican, and then, you put him to take a picture with his cousin, and he's like, 7 shades darker than her. But for the most part, I don't really feel like it's any different than raising a non-interracial child. And I can say that because I've had my niece with me since she was born, so, I've basically been helping raising her, so, but I don't think it's any different. What's my race? I'm Mexican, Keith is black, so he's Blaxican, I guess. Do I plan on making sure he participates and appreciates black history and understanding its impact on his life? I do. I do want him to know where he came from, and I want him to realize that, he has 2 different backgrounds. He doesn't just have one. So, I'm not going to force him to identify with one race or the other. I'm hoping he's going to appreciate and understand both of them. And are there practices and such from my culture that I plan to instill? My family is very family orientated, where Keith's family is not. I don't know if that's a cultural thing as it is a separate family thing, but I do want him to have that. And I do want him to appreciate that. So I guess to sum it all up, I just want him to know that he comes from 2 different backgrounds, and I want him to appreciate and understand both of them. I think that's all my questions. Sorry for looking like crap like usual, but we just woke up, and it's the only time I get to do a video, so we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.